Hello and welcome to my channel where we make gourmet tasting cake using a box mix. And today we are making a German chocolate cake. Now I know what you're probably thinking, they already sell German chocolate cake mixes, so why bother? But hear me out, I have discovered that with a few ingredient adjustments you can make a German chocolate cake that is so velvety soft and delicious it doesn't even taste like it came from a cake mix. So stick around while we make something boxed, but better. The first thing we need to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. In a microwave-safe large mixing bowl, you are going to break apart a 4-ounce bar of German chocolate. Fun fact about German chocolate, it's not actually German. It was created in 1852 by a man named Samuel German. Next, we are going to add 1/4 cup of oil to the chocolate. Once you have your chocolate and oil combined, you are going to microwave it every 15 seconds and stir it until it becomes completely melted and incorporated together. Once your chocolate has melted, you are going to add another 1/4 cup of oil, 1½ cups of room temperature milk, 1½ tablespoons of distilled white vinegar. Yes, trust me on this, add the vinegar, and 3 egg whites. When you add the 3 egg whites, you're going to add your 3 egg yolks to a medium to large size saucepan. We will be using them for our German chocolate icing later. After you have separated your egg whites and egg yolks, go ahead and crack 1 more whole egg into your saucepan. Then add a 12 fluid ounce can of evaporated milk. This will keep your egg yolks from drying out as you make your cake batter. Set aside your evaporated milk and eggs for the icing later. We are going to mix all of our white ingredients together. You do not have to mix it for long, just enough to get it nicely incorporated. The last thing we are going to add is 1 white box mix. And now we are going to mix until well blended, about 2 minutes. Do not panic if you see little white chunks of cake mix, it will cook out in the end. And you will notice that your batter is thin. That is exactly how we want it to look. Pour your batter into 3 well-greased and floured 8-inch cake pans or 2 9-inch cake pans. But you know me, I love a tall cake, so I am going with 3 layers. Now coming back to the pot that we set aside earlier, we still have our 3 egg yolks, 1 whole egg, and 12 ounces of evaporated milk. Next we are going to add 1 stick of unsalted butter, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 3/4 cups of brown sugar. We are going to cook this over a medium-high heat while stirring continuously, being sure to scrape the bottom with your spatula until it becomes thickened. You'll know it's the right consistency when it is about as thick as cream of chicken soup. Turn off your heat. While keeping it on the heat and still stirring, add 2 cups of shredded sweetened coconut. Then add 1 cup of chopped pecans. I did chop my pecans into smaller pieces. This will make it a lot easier when icing the cake. Now we are going to remove it from the heat and let it come to room temperature as our cakes cool. It has been 20 minutes for 2 layers, but actually 25 minutes for this layer. And this is a great example of why it's good to check to make sure your cakes are done. And there are 2 ways to check to make sure your cake layers are done. One is the poke test. Simply poke the cake with your finger, and if it leaves an indent, you know it's done. You can actually see right here where I poked it the first time and realized that this layer was not done, and put it in for another 5 minutes. The second is the toothpick test. Simply insert a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, you know your cake is done. This next part is completely up to you. I'm going to make a little bit of quick chocolate icing to decorate our cake with. Now normally I'm a purist and I only make icing from scratch, but tonight I'm quite frankly tired, so I'm going to show you, like I said, a quick and easy way to do this. In a mixing bowl, you are going to add about a 1/2 can of buttercream icing. Next, you are going to throw in a tablespoon of butter to give it a more authentic taste. Add just a few drops of vanilla. There's no specific measurement for that. Add 2 heaping tablespoons of cocoa powder and be sure to sift well. I'm going to mix 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder in first before adding the second because it does have a tendency to go everywhere, as you can see. Mix it until smooth and creamy. And there you have it, some I don't feel like it chocolate icing. Our cake layers have cooled and our German chocolate icing is now room temperature, which is perfect for spreading. We are going to fill our layers with German chocolate icing. This icing is so thick that I'm just using my rubber spatula to smooth it out. Repeat the same thing with the second layer. It is time to ice our cake. Now normally I always say to shave off the edges to give for a smoother look. The good news with this icing is that it is so thick you don't even have to do that because it won't be noticeable. Also, this cake, like I said, is super velvety soft, so I don't want to compromise the integrity of the structure by shaving off the edges. The technique with this icing is pretty simple. Use your spatula to put it on the cake, and then smooth it out with your butter knife, or your angled spatula if you have one, and repeat the process all the way around. Because this icing is warm and thick, it works so delightfully well. Super easy. In fact, you can do most of the smoothing with your rubber spatula. I love how ridiculously easy it is to smooth this German chocolate icing. Once you get your icing on, use your angled spatula or butter knife to make sure you've covered every inch. And smooth out the sides. And now understand when I say smooth out the sides, this is a really lumpy icing, so smooth out the sides means to just kind of make it look nice. Now we have finished icing our cake, and we get to do the fun part of decorating. Once again, decorating the cake is completely up to you and how you want it to look. Honestly, you can just eat it like this. But for me, I am going to use some miniature chocolate chips around my base. This will give it a cute border, and the dark brown will help to accentuate the color of the German chocolate icing. To decorate with my icing, I am using a piping bag with a star tip that is number 842. Once again, if you do not have a icing tip and do not feel like going out and buying any, you can just use a plain piping bag and cut a hole in the end. It will just give a smooth design instead. Fill your icing bag with the chocolate icing and remember to twist it at the top so that the icing does not come out the top when you squeeze. Hold it between your thumb and your 4 fingers to give you more control as you ice your cake. Give it a squeeze straight up and down and slowly swirl around. I think I would like a really tall heap of icing, so I'm going to go up, 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 stop squeezing and pull away. To try to get it a little more even, I'm going to do the same exact thing directly across. I'm going to go in between my 4 icing piles and do 1 in between each pile. I love how huge these swirls look. They remind me of ice cream cones. But again, remember, this is your cake. Decorate it how you want. Have fun with it. After I have my giant icing swirls, I'm going to top each one with a kiss. Squish it down just a little. Boop. After that, I'm going to give it just a light sprinkle of miniature chocolate chips on top. I personally recommend eating this cake immediately after decorating it while it's still slightly warm. It is so soft and velvety and it just absolutely melts in your mouth. And there you have it, our delicious velvety German chocolate cake. Thank you for joining me. As usual, I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section below and I will do my best to answer them. And I will see you next time on Box But Better with Genna.
Well, there's your blooper.